All right, good afternoon, everyone. If someone would just put in the chat to confirm that you can hear me okay, that'd be great. All right, thanks, E-RYT. And thank you, Julie. So Julie, it's your first time with us. Is there anything I should know about your practice or injuries or anything like that? No? All right, cool. All right, so since you are new to my class or my teaching, Julie, I'm just going to go over some basics with you real quick. Let me move my camera up a little bit. Sorry. Let's adjust this real quick. There we go. All right. So the way my class is structured is we go from pretty basic, straightforward, simple, easy variations to quite challenging, quite difficult, advanced variations. And we do that within the course of the class. Now, the more advanced variations build on the simpler and easier ones. What that means is when we move on to more advanced stuff, if you don't think you're ready for that, you repeat the simpler variation. A very important thing to understand about how our bodies learn is through repetition and through making mistakes. So if you were to see an infant try and learn to walk, you would see an infant get up, wiggle around, and then fall down. And then it would get up again and try again, and then it would fall down. It would do that many hundreds of thousands of times. And through that process, it would eventually learn how to walk. It doesn't learn to walk otherwise. Unless it goes through that process, it will not learn how to walk. So we as adults like to believe that we can have a teacher, yoga teacher, just tell us something and then we'll know how to do it the first time. Well, maybe, but most of the time it's not that way. So we repeat. I can't do something, I repeat it. I find something very difficult, I repeat it. By repeating, eventually it gets easier. My body learns. It's not really so much learning up here. It's more the nervous system and the muscles and the body learning how to work with the postures, okay? So the worst thing you could do, I can't see you guys, but the worst thing you can do when the class is moving on to something more challenging is to just sit and watch or wait. The best thing you could do is to do the best of whatever it is that we're doing, as close as you can get. So whichever variation is the closest, all right? Okay, so now we have that out of the way. Let's get started. And we'll start with breathing, which is probably the most important thing in a class like this. Even though we're going to be moving and doing plenty of other stuff, we really want to be breathing properly the whole time. So find a seat, close your eyes. Maybe the only thing more important than breathing is awareness, because without awareness, we're going to forget our breath anyway. So let's start there. We're just becoming aware that we're breathing. The breath is the perfect bridge between the inside and the outside, between what we might call our ordinary awareness and what we might call more introverted, introspective, yogic awareness. Yoga is about the human heart and the human mind, and is about unleashing the human heart and mind's full potential, which is far beyond what we can imagine. So just noticing the breath, we will now gradually begin to deepen our breathing. So we inhale, fill the belly first, then the ribs, then the upper chest. So we exhale, we reverse this, chest, ribs, and then belly pulls in towards the spine. Try and exaggerate the breath to the point where maybe there's a little bit of discomfort, right? Really deep, full inhalation and exhalations. But back off from that point of discomfort just enough so you're breathing as fully as you can, but without strain. Once you've established this deep 3-part breathing, begin to create a hissing sound, an ocean sound at the back of your throat, restricting what's called the glottis, which is the same thing that you do when you're creating the sound of, say, fogging a mirror. But we'd like to do that with the mouth closed, which sounds like this. We'd also like to be able to do it on the inhalation as well. In yoga, this technique is called Ujjayi, which means victory. So Ujjayi is the victory breath. Okay. So we have 2 techniques. We are breathing in 3 parts, and we are creating an ocean sound as we breathe. 2 other things to note about breathing. We're breathing only in and out through the nose. We're not doing any mouth breathing this whole time. And then secondly, the inhales and the exhales are the same length. So you can even count a few. Inhaling for 3 or 5, you also exhale for the same amount. Now, all of this is relatively easy to do while seated like this in stillness. A great way to think of the practice today is it is a breathing exercise with movement, not exercise with breathing, the opposite. It is mostly about the breathing, and then we bring in the postures to stress the system so we can learn to breathe this way even when under physical, mental, or emotional stress. We want it to become second nature that we breathe in the right way all the time. All right, let's exhale into a tabletop position. In tabletop, we begin warming up the spine. Inhale, tailbone lifts, belly drops, crown of the head comes up. Exhale, tailbone tucks, back rounds, crown of the head comes down. Very simple movement that we call cat-cow. And the intention is to warm up the back, spine, and torso. Once you've warmed up, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and begin to focus on warming up your legs. Bending one knee and the other, walking the dog. Feel free to do other things like roll over your toes, circle the ankles, and kick the legs if that helps you to warm up more effectively. Now, once you've warmed up, come into your full expression of downward facing dog. In Sanskrit, this pose is called Adho Mukha Svanasana. If you can look at me, I am in essentially an upside down V shape. My legs and my arms are straight. My torso is basically aligned with my arms. My hands are shoulder width. My feet are hip width. And I'm actively drawing my chest back toward my toes and my heels toward the ground. I haven't changed how I'm breathing. I'm still breathing in 3 parts, very deep, very slow, and I'm making that sound with each breath. Of course, I'm teaching, so I'm not breathing in that way, but you should be. With our next exhale, let's walk our feet toward our hands, coming into a ragdoll position, dangling here at the front edge of our mat, with our arms and our neck relaxed. Feel the stretch on the back side of your body. You can let your hips and torso sway. You can bend your knees one at a time or both together. You can nod or shake your head a few times, just letting everything again loosen up in preparation for our practice. Then with the arms relaxed, we'll inhale and gradually roll ourselves up to standing. Once we're standing, let's take a moment to be sure that we aren't holding excess tension in our face, jaw, or shoulders. Yoga teaches us, and we can actually learn and experience for ourselves, that really it's not situations that cause us to suffer so much as it is our resistance to the situations that we find ourselves in. Now, when I say resistance, I'm really talking about, again, the heart and the mind. Physically, it's not so much about our actions or our words, it's more about how we feel and what we believe. So, in today's class, as we do some of the more challenging postures, you might experiment if you find yourself resisting internally with letting go of that resistance. Now, resistance can show up as physical resistance, mental resistance, and emotional resistance. And all of it, again, can cause us to suffer. So let's begin with a standing back bend. We're still breathing in the same way, and with our next inhalation, we draw our arms up, touch the palms, and lift the heart. We are trying to stretch the front of the body. So it really doesn't matter how far back I go. It's much more how much can I lengthen and stretch the front. Going back does help me stretch the front side of my body, but it's a different goal than, say, trying to touch the ground with my hands. Doing that may give me a good stretch, but it might not. So focus on the stretch, the length, opening up from the front of your hips to maybe your chin. Notice how that affects your breath. And again, notice if any kind of resistance has come in, physical, mental, or emotional. If you can be aware of it and then let it go, you will find your experience is more pleasurable. Let's take a deep breath in, and as we exhale, release into the forward fold. Bending the knees deeply and placing the belly against the thighs, let the neck relax. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Keep your belly on your thighs, and then begin to straighten the legs as much as you can before your belly lifts. Let the neck relax, and don't forget to breathe. Feel the stretch in the back of your thighs, and try and breathe. Stretch. On the exhale, feel the tension leaving that part of your body. On the inhale, feel the breath, energy, prana, moving into that part of the body, invigorating and enlivening it. Now, the next inhale, let's come to our fingertips, or we'll take hands to our shins for the half lift. This pose is mostly a transition. So we exhale, we'll plant the hands and step to the top of a push-up for plank pose. Aligning ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and heels into one straight line. A few common mistakes are to collapse in the shoulders. The shoulders should be engaged. You're actively pressing the ground away from you. Another common mistake is to dump into your spine, which looks like that. We are not just resting on our spine. We are engaged in the core so that our hips are aligned with our heels and our shoulders. And then the final thing I want to highlight looks a little bit like this. It's not quite a downward dog, but it's also not plank pose. And this is done because it's easier than this. All right, so if you can't do it like this is okay for now, but be aware that you want to bring your hips down over time. Let's drop our knees for the first push-up. Take a nice deep breath, and as you exhale, bend the arms and come down halfway. Notice the position of my arms. My elbows are hugging my ribs, and they're stacked above my wrists. Take a breath here, and the next exhale, come the rest of the way down. Release the tops of the feet to the mat and press them down as you press into your hands, lifting the head, neck, and chest, shoulders down away from the ears. This is called Cobra Pose. Exhale, lower back down. Press back to tabletop, and then tucking toes to downward facing dog. This is a good time to check back in on our breathing. Ideally, it hasn't changed at all from when we were sitting earlier. From here, we'll take a breath in, coming to our toes, and as we exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of our mat. From here, with our inhalation, we come all the way up to standing back bend again. Then we add half moon, grabbing the right wrist with the left hand. We send our hips to the right, so we pull our arm to the left, stretching deeply into the right waist. Try and avoid collapsing into the left waist and rolling the right shoulder forward, which would look like this. Again, many people think the point of yoga poses is to go down as far as we can. So they might do this pose like this, thinking that they're winning the race to reach the ground. Quite to the contrary, we are trying to lengthen up and out and then over. Let's inhale back to center, switch wrists, and we exhale to the other side. Again, I am trying to lengthen not only my left waist, but also my right waist. I'm trying to keep both shoulders stacked above the hips and both the chest and the hips facing straight ahead. As I inhale, I come back to center. You can put the back bend in here if that feels good. And then exhale again to forward fold. Inhale to half lift. And as you exhale, step to the top of a push-up. Okay, so knees up or down is your choice. But we don't want knees up if we can't do the arms in the right way. So the arms should not have changed at all. We take a deep breath and we exhale, come down halfway, much harder with the knees off the ground. This time, inhaling, come to up dog if you're able. Arms and legs are straight, and it may not look like it, but my knees are off the ground. So it's not this. This is a cobra, in which case you should just repeat what we did last time. This is up dog. From up dog, as we exhale, we pull both feet in at the same time, coming up and back. Both feet at the same time is important because otherwise you can create a problem with your Now let's inhale to our toes between the hands. As we exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of our mat. Again, we inhale up to our standing back bend, and then we flow right into the half moon, sending our hips to the right and pulling our arms to the left. Inhale back to center, exhale to the other side. Then inhaling back to center, we exhale and sit back into an imaginary seat for chair pose. This pose, among others, tends to create a lot of sensation. Oftentimes, our brains interpret a lot of sensation as painful or uncomfortable. Once we have created that label, we tend to resist the experience. Again, we can do this physically by clenching our jaw or bringing our shoulders up like that. We can do this in our heart, emotionally, feeling as though we are being put upon or somehow some injustice is being done. And then we can do it mentally by saying, what is this teacher doing? This is horrible. We're holding this pose too long. I'm so uncomfortable. I'm shaking. All of these are just forms of resistance, which will all lead to suffering. It's not the pose that actually causes suffering. It's not the experience. It's our internal relationship with our experiences in life that causes suffering. Let's take a deep breath here, and as we exhale, we release into the forward fold. Inhaling to half lift. If you can, exhale to the bottom of your push-up. From there, inhale to up dog, or you can repeat cobra. And if you're able, exhale and do a push-up on your way out. If not, you are welcome to use tabletop to make the transition much easier, or you can go straight back to downward dog. Hopefully, you're realizing that I like options. And I want you to select the options that make sense for you. One size does not fit all, not in yoga and not in life. Okay, let's move on to some different variations now. With our feet touching, we'll inhale the right leg up and back. Let's bend the knee and make some really wide circles in the air. We'll do a few in one direction and then a few in the other direction. Notice how I'm bringing my thigh all the way into my belly. Some students do this, like they're making tiny little circles. I want big, wide circles, okay? Exhale, place the foot between the hands, drop the back knee, and inhale up into crescent, low lunge, sorry. So this is called Vinyasa. The stretch should be at the front of your left hip. If you'd like more challenge, exhale your hands to your heart and bring your left elbow over your right thigh, adding a twist to the pose. For even more challenge, tuck the back toes and lift that knee up. We're still trying to stretch the front of that left hip. So if adding any of this stuff makes you lose that stretch, then you want to backtrack. As I breathe, again, I am trying to communicate to the parts of my nervous system that I cannot consciously control to relax the tension at the front of my left hip. I do this with the breathing techniques. With our next inhale, let's draw our arms up. And as we exhale, we'll take a push-up and make our way back to downward facing dog. Now, from this point on, you'll probably see me start to skip the push-ups. That's because I am not actually supposed to be doing this practice with you. One of the first things we learn in yoga teacher training is you don't practice when you teach. But online, there really isn't another way. I can't pay someone to demonstrate the class for you while I stand and teach. So I have to do it. What that means is I need to conserve my energy and my breath by cutting corners. But I'm teaching, you're not. So if you can avoid it, don't cut any corners. Do every push-up in the class and you'll get more out of it. Swing our feet to touch and we'll inhale the left leg up and back. Let's bend the knee and make those wide circles. What we're doing as we make these circles is articulating our hip joint. This helps us not only to warm up the hip joint, but also to recognize if there's any damage to the hip. I definitely have some damage in my hip and I can feel it as I move. This might affect which choices I make in the class today. We'll take a deep breath and exhale that foot between the hands. Then we inhale up into our low lunge. Again, the stretch should be felt right here. I can stay here or exhale and take the twist. Then again, I can stay here or lift the back knee up. Regardless, once I'm in position, I want to focus on sensation, breathing, and again, surrendering to the experience, whether it's one that I personally enjoy or not. Good. Let's inhale those arms up and we exhale bottom of our push-up. All right. From here, we will inhale to our toes, fill the lungs, and we exhale to a seat, crossing the ankles. Let's take a look at boat pose. We again start with a very simple variation. Knees are bent, legs are together or parallel. Now the key with boat is a straight spine. If you're looking at my back, it's relatively easy to sit with a straight spine sitting upright like I am now. However, that's not how we do boat pose. Boat pose is done leaning back. So you might take your hands behind you and lean back and keep lifting this part of your abdomen, the solar plexus. Keep lifting that up. All right, see how straight my back is. This is incorrect, okay? And this is how many people try and do boat pose like that. So this is what we want. And we see if we can lift those arms and maintain that straight spine. If it's easy, just lean back more, keeping your spine straight. The arms can also come into this position. Regardless of the position of the arms, we want to relax our face, jaw, shoulders, heart, and mind. When we really relax, we become one with our experience, and there's no suffering. There might be a very intense experience, but there's no suffering. Take a deep breath in. As we exhale, we cross our ankles and roll forward. Again, taking a vinyasa back to down dog. If there are too many push-ups in the class for you, you may skip vinyasas, obviously. But again, you want to not baby yourself. So you don't want to go too easy on yourself. You want to challenge yourself a bit. So if you find the push-ups difficult, try doing one or two more than you're comfortable with. Try and push just a little bit. Okay, inhaling to the toes, look to the hands, and as you exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of your mat. From there, inhale up to standing back bend. And as you exhale, come into chair pose, but add a twist, literally. The hips still face forward, but now my chest faces the right wall. My fingertips reach forward and back like I'm trying to touch both walls simultaneously. Then inhaling, I come back to standing back bend, and I exhale in the opposite direction. This is called chair twist, and we will be doing this many times today and flowing through it. So please remember this position and remember the name when I say chair twist. Let's inhale back up to standing back bend, and we exhale to forward fold. You can inhale to half lift, or a couple weeks ago, we learned this pose, crow pose. You can do that. Exhale, bottom of the push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. And again, push up on your way out or straight back to down dog. All right, let's bring our feet to touch, and we'll inhale the right leg up and back to three-legged dog pose. I teach this pose in almost every class because it's so important. We'd like the foot flexed, the toes, knee and hip pointing straight down. The leg is straight and lifted, but I'm lifting the leg without lifting the hip. Hopefully you can see as I lift my hip, I can lift my leg much higher, right? But I'm not doing that. Hip is down, leg is still lifted. Take a deep breath, exhale, and lunge. Inhale to Anjaneyasana. Exhale, half triangle. Rock the hips back over the left knee. Right leg straight, foot flexed, toes pointing up. Take a nice deep breath here, and as you exhale, fold over your right leg and feel the stretch in the back of the right thigh. Focus on getting the right side of your abdomen closer to your right thigh, maybe even flush with the thigh. With the next inhalation, rock forward, draw the arms up to Anjaneyasana, and exhale to the bottom of your push-up, making your way to downward dog. Side two, feet touch. Inhale, left leg up and back, three-legged dog. As I said earlier, awareness is the most important thing. If I don't have awareness, I might be lifting my hip and pointing my toes and bending my knee and not even aware that I'm doing it. So pay attention to what your body is doing. Now, if you're aware that your hip is lifting, but you find that no matter how hard you try, you can't lower it, that's okay. This is not about being perfect. It's about doing the best that we can. And again, being aware of what we are doing, even if it isn't perfect. Let's take a deep breath and exhale, lunge. Inhale to low lunge, and then exhale to half triangle, Ardha Trikonasana. Take a few breaths. Many of you have heard me say before, but it is the breathing that controls the nervous system. You cannot consciously control the autonomic nervous system. What that means is it's the breath that is our lever, that is our control mechanism, that is our steering wheel, that is our joystick, if you will. If we are not breathing in the right way, then a practice like this can send our nervous system into a state that is undesirable. So that is why yin, we do not need to breathe this way, because yin is taking us in the right direction anyway. This kind of practice, if we are not careful, we go in the wrong direction. Okay, inhale, coming back up, and exhale, bottom of the push-up, making your way back to downward dog. From downward dog, let's inhale to our toes, and we exhale to our seat. Coming back into the boat pose. Now again, you could stay here, that's totally fine, but to take it to the next level, lift the shins up parallel with the ground. Remember, you're lifting the solar plexus up. The two muscle groups that are getting the most work here are the hip flexors, which are right in here, and then your low back is engaging. I say lift this, but what lifts this are these muscles back here, engaging and pulling the lower ribs, the back ribs, toward the back of the pelvis. Let's take a nice deep breath, and as we exhale, cross those ankles, and we make our way back to downward dog. Again, if you can, do a push-up on your way. Okay, from here, let's inhale to our toes, and as we exhale, we make our way to the front edge of the mat. Let's go through that little flow. We inhale to standing back bend. We exhale, chair twist. Inhale, back up, standing back bend. Exhale, chair twist. Again, we're going to do that many times today. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, prayer twist. Okay, my hands are in prayer. I'm twisting, hips down. Inhale, extend through the crown of the head. And then exhale, press the right shoulder back as you look up. Breathe. Relax the face and shoulders. Good. Inhale, back up to standing. And then exhale, prayer twist in the other direction. Hips down, spine long, shoulder back. Breath is deep. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. My internet connection dropped for some reason, but hopefully that will not happen again. It's the first time that's actually ever happened. Okay, so continuing on, we bring the knee to our arm, then to our nose, and then to the opposite arm. Okay? Inhale up and back, and exhale as you lunge. Let me see what the message is here. All right. Okay, so we're going to lunge. And then this time we step the back foot in, straighten the legs, draw the left hip forward and the right hip back. Now we're going to inhale up just to straighten everything up. Okay, now let's exhale our hands to our hips. When we get going, we're not going to do this as slowly, but I want you to feel how it is, how it should be. And then from there, we will flow into it, okay? So imagine you had headlights on your hips. They would be pointing straight ahead. What many people do in this position is because they try and get their legs wider, the hips are back. So if I had headlights, they'd be going off in this direction, right? I don't want to do that, okay? My heels are on the ground and my legs are straight. And again, my headlights are going straight ahead, all right? Okay, from here, I inhale, arms up, right thumb over left thumb. And then as I exhale, I come forward and down with a nice straight spine. Coming all the way down, I then release the hands either side of the foot. Legs are still straight if possible. Folding in, I'm stretching the back of my right thigh again. If I don't feel it, I could step a little wider, but I'm still drawing that left hip forward and right hip back. Breathing here, relaxing here. Good. Inhale, bend that knee, and exhale to the bottom of your push-up, making your way back to downward dog. Side two, hopefully we won't lose connection this time. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, left knee to left arm. Good. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale the knee to nose, chin, or forehead. Inhale. Exhale, tap the opposite arm. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale and lunge. Step the back foot in, and then inhale up to standing. From there, exhale, hands to hips, and let's just take a moment, again, to really clean this up so that when we get flowing, hopefully we'll be able to do it without pausing. So right hip is forward, left hip is back, both legs are straight, both heels are down. Inhale, arms up, left thumb over right, and then exhale, hinging from the hips, forward and down. I might have to put my hands on blocks. That's okay. All right? So again, one size does not fit all, but we can all do our best. Your best might be very different than my best. That's okay. That's just the way life is. But the question is this your best or not? Oftentimes when we quit, when we don't try, it's because we're not actually doing our best. All right. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, bottom of your push-up. Make your way back to the downward dog. From downward dog, we inhale to our toes, and as we exhale, we again jump to a seat. Now we come to classic boat pose. Again, you could be doing either of the variations we've learned so far, but classic boat has the legs straight. Again, this is much easier if I collapse and round into my back, but I'm not doing that. I'm trying to lift my solar plexus up, trying to straighten my back as much as possible, and I'm trying to do that without bringing in tension in my heart. I'm feeling a lot of sensation. My body is actually trembling a little bit, and it's okay. If I try and resist that experience, then I begin to suffer. It makes the situation worse, not better. And it's through experience that we learn this, that we really see this very clearly, that resistance always, always makes things worse. All right, let's take a deep breath in, and we exhale, bottom of our push-up, making our way back to downward dog. Now again, when I'm talking about resistance, I'm talking about heart and mind. I'm not saying political resistance or social resistance, that these things always make things worse. No. All right? Yoga is not about social or political change. It is about change in the human heart and the human mind. All right? So please keep things straight. Many people these days are trying to say, you know, yoga should take a stand on this or that. This is not really what yoga is about. Okay. Now here we are back in our downward dog. In downward dog, let's inhale to our toes, and we're going to exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of our mat. Again, we'll go through this little flow. We inhale to back bend, and we exhale and take a twist. Inhale, back up, exhale, prayer twist to the other side. Inhale, standing back bend, exhale, prayer twist. So not chair twist, but prayer twist. Good. Let's inhale, open up those arms, and then I'm going to pivot just so you can see me. See if you can exhale your hands to the ground, bend your arms, and look up, not down. Shift weight from your feet to your arms and try and lift them up very carefully. That is called side crow. It is one of two arm balances that most people are able to do, and it's very often the first arm balance that people learn, one of the first ones. It's, for many people, actually easier than crow pose. Okay, let's inhale back up, standing back bend, and we exhale to the other side. Again, maybe this is really my best, is right here. Maybe this is my best today. Or maybe it's this, without lifting the legs. That's fine. Maybe I can just shift weight onto the arm a little bit, and maybe I can come into the full expression of the pose. Again, you just need to be honest with yourself what your best looks like. I can't see you, and I really don't know, honestly. I might have an idea. I might think, she looks like she could do more, but honestly, no one knows but you. Okay, let's inhale back up to standing back bend to release that, and exhale to forward fold. Inhale, half lift, crow, or maybe even a handstand. And you exhale to the bottom of your push-up, making your way back to downward dog. Okay, feet touch. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, right knee, right arm. Inhale, lift it high. Exhale, try and make contact, knee to nose if you can. Actually touch. Inhale, exhale to the opposite arm. Kick the foot out, drop the back heel, and if you're able, lift the left hand into the 12 o'clock position. This is called fallen triangle. Exhale the hand back down, inhale the leg up and back, and exhale as you lunge. Then inhale back up to standing, and let's see if we can go right into our Parsva Bakasana in one breath. If you can't, that's okay. But see if you can come on down. And then once you're here, listen carefully. Inhale and extend to the crown of your head. So lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant the left hand to the ground or a block directly under the shoulder. And then inhale, sweep the right arm up into a rotated triangle. Okay? Good. The legs are straight. The heels are down. The sides are long. Breathing. Extending through the crown of the head. Like, again, I'm trying to punch a hole through the wall that's in front of me. Let's take one more breath here, and then we'll exhale, bottom of our push-up, make our way back to down dog. Other side, feet touch. Inhale, left foot up and back. Exhale, left knee, left arm. Inhale. Exhale. to the center. Try and touch if you can. Inhale. Exhale to the opposite arm. Kick the foot out, drop the back heel. And if you're able, inhale the right arm up into fallen triangle pose. Good. Exhale the hand down. Inhale the leg up and back. And exhale as you lunge. Inhale up. And then exhale forward and down. So again, we come up really just so we can align everything. So we can really get things where we want them. And then we come right back down and into this pose. Then inhale, extend to the crown. Exhale, right hand to the ground. Inhale, left arm up, rotated triangle. So the last pose was fallen triangle, and this is rotated triangle pose. Good. Exhale, bend that knee, bottom of your push-up, making your way back to downward facing dog. Once we're in down dog, let's inhale to our toes and exhale, find a seat. Good. So again, I can repeat any of the boat variations we have learned if that's my edge, if that's where I'm finding a challenge. But if you feel like maybe there's more for you, we look at the low boat pose. For low boat, I inhale and lower down. I'm not touching the ground with my back or my thighs. I'm still trying to lift from the solar plexus. I can stay here, or I can exhale and come up and inhale, lower down, turning it into a type of sit-up. Inhale and exhale. Good. Cross the ankles, exhale, bottom of your push-up, making your way back to downward dog. From downward dog, let's inhale to our toes, and we will exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of our mat. Let's inhale again to our standing back bend, and exhale to chair twist to the right. Inhale back up, and exhale to the left. Inhale back up. Exhale, prayer twist to the right. So I'll go this way just for demonstration purposes. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale to your side crow if you are able. If you're able to do that, try straightening the legs and keeping them together. That's called Dvipada Kondyanasana. All right? Then we'll inhale back up to standing. And we exhale to the other side. Again, I inhale, open the arms. And then I exhale. Again, if I was not able to do side crow, then maybe I'm trying that for the second time, just seeing if I can do it this time. Remember what I said earlier about the baby, right? If the baby quit the first time it tried to walk, it would never learn to walk. But many of us as adults, we try something once, and if we think we're not good at it, we just quit, all right? So none of us would be walking if we had that mental attitude when we were babies. Luckily, babies don't have that attitude. We learn that later on, and it doesn't serve us. Okay, let's inhale back up, standing back bend, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, and exhale, bottom of your push-up, making your way to down dog. Okay, so now we come to our home stretch. Let's inhale the right leg up and back. Right knee, right arm. Inhale, lift. Exhale, center. Inhale, exhale. Kick it out Inhale, fallen triangle. Now listen carefully. Exhale, hips come down. Bend both knees and bring your forearms to the ground. This is called Swastikasana. It's a deep spinal twist. My hips are facing the left wall. My chest is facing the ground. If I want to go deeper into the twist, left shoulder to the ground, palm up. Right palm to left palm, pressing the right shoulder back. Breathe. Good. Now, coming back to the hands, straighten both legs and just take a moment to make sure that the left leg is more or less at the center of your mat. Then inhale back up to fallen triangle. Exhale the hand to the ground. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale and lunge. Good. Now inhale up to standing. Exhale, Parsva Bakasana. Then inhale, Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. And then exhale, bend the front knee, lift the back leg up, just like three-legged dog. So again, we're not doing this. We're not lifting that leg. Toes are pointing down, knee and hip are all pointing down. Inhale, extend to the crown of the head. Exhale, plant that left hand. Inhale, the right arm up, rotated, balancing, half moon. Breathing here. Good. Looking up if you can. Try and maintain that balance. Good. Exhale, bottom of the push-up, making your way back to down dog. Let's do that on the other side. Feet touch. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, left knee, left arm. Inhale. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale, opposite arm. Kick it out. Drop the back heel. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, hips down. Bend the knees. Okay, notice my legs are not together. They are intentionally apart. Come down to the forearms. You're already in the twist. Let's go further. Right shoulder to the ground, palm up. Right ear to the ground, right? Left palm to right palm, pressing the left shoulder back. Okay. Again, let's straighten the legs more or less where they are, but we need to be sure that that right leg is more or less at the front of the mat, or the center of the mat, sorry. Inhale, fallen triangle. Exhale the hand down. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale, lunge. Then inhale up to standing. And exhale to Parsva Bakasana. Inhale to Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. Exhale, bring the hand down, bend the front knee. Inhale, lift the back leg as you straighten the front leg. Extend to the crown of the head. Exhale, plant the right hand to the ground. Inhale the left arm up into the 12 o'clock position. Breathe. Good. Exhale, bottom of the push-up, making your way back to downward dog. Okay, so we worked the hips a lot in our boat poses, so let's give them a little stretch. We'll inhale the right leg up and back, and exhale to this position. Okay, my hips are down and back, my torso is up and back, and I'm trying to stretch the front of my left hip. Those again are the hip flexors. All right, let's switch sides. So inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale to down dog. Other side, inhale, left leg up and back. And exhale into half sphinx. Or, sorry, half seal pose. Stretching the front of the right hip. Breathing. Good. So inhale that left leg up and back. And we'll exhale and come to a seat. Let's go ahead and extend our legs out in front of us. Toes and knees point straight up. Inhale, straighten the spine, bring the arms up. And exhale as you fold forward. You can grab the toes or outside edges of the feet or even interlace your fingers. Begin to extend the exhalation twice the length of your inhale. Arms to the ears, inhale, come on up. And exhale the hands behind you slightly and lean back into those hands. Point your toes, and with the next inhale, lift your hips up. And if it feels okay on your neck, let your chin drop back. Keep lifting the hips. Exhale, release the hips down. Inhale, extend the arms out in front. Exhale, roll back onto your back. Once you get there, draw the legs in, give them a little squeeze, and make a few circles in each direction. Then, extending your arms out like a T, drop both knees to the right as you look to your left. Close your eyes, and now let your breath be natural. Inhale, knees through center, and exhale them off to the other side. Look away from the knees, and again, let gravity do the work for you. Let's inhale back to center, and we'll grab the soles of our feet for happy baby. Pulling down on the knees or extending the legs one at a time or both together. Pulling them apart or pulling them overhead, just giving everything a nice, good stretch. And then when you're ready to relax, go ahead and unwind onto your back into Shavasana. So in Shavasana, your arms and legs are apart and away from your body slightly. The palms are turned up. The head is centered, the chin is tucked in slightly, and the eyes are closed. Set a timer for 6 minutes. You can do longer if you like, but you'd like to do at least 6 minutes. Okay? And then I'll be leaving you now, but you want to relax just in stillness and quiet for 6 minutes. And this way you'll feel much better when you come back. If there are any questions for me, reach out at any time. I'm available to you in any capacity that I can be, especially during these, what can be difficult times for people during the pandemic. If you're coming to Yin, I'll see you in about 15 minutes. I encourage you to do so. A very different practice than this. But if not, then I will hopefully see you next Wednesday at 4:45. Namaste, everybody, and thanks again.